Hey, what's going on? I'm just fixing a few things here real quick. Then we're going to jump into it. Okay. Let me wait till it pops up here on YouTube. Okay, it looks like I'm live now. Okay, let's go back. Click on my video. Okay. Let's see. Okay, looks like it's coming on now. I can pause it. Okay, where's the volume on here? Okay, let's go back. Okay, there we go. Let me increase the volume. All right, now I'm good. So let's pause that. What's going on? I see somebody just jumped on. I'm just setting up right now. I'm about to get the chat going. Paste this inside here. We're going to talk a little boxing. Okay, boom. Now I'm ready to talk. So listen, man. A lot going on in boxing. I apologize. I've been busy. It's been tough getting on a live, man. But I'm here now. So nonetheless, got Broner. You got Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia. You got so much going on. Clarissa Shields. But there's a lot going on in boxing. So let's just start off with Adrian Broner. Charlos heavyweights. But Adrian Broner, look, he's back, okay? And I don't care what anyone has to say about AB. Adrian Broner, Anthony Latham, been a minute, been busy. I'm going to come and drop a like and get back to work. Okay, do your thing. I appreciate it, man. But let me tell y'all something. Adrian Broner is back, and a lot of people are happy. There are a lot of people just waiting to see how Adrian Broner is going to perform. And me too, but I'm telling you what I'm paying attention to when it comes to Adrian Broner. Let me tell y'all this. A couple years ago, I just did a short video about it, but we can expound here. Adrian Broner was talking about getting back down to 135 pounds. He hasn't ruled that out. He's looking at getting down to 140, right? Campaigning at 140. But let's put this in perspective. Adrian Broner becoming a champion again at 140. A lot of people are of the opinion that he can't do it. I'm of the opinion that Adrian Broner can do it. And I'm going to tell you why. When you look at what's going on at 140 pounds, who has belts? Regis Prograis, Taylor, he fights Teofimo. We're going to see how that goes, right? Matias, and then Rolly Romero. Now, Adrian Broner is about to fight an attorney, a guy who boxes part-time. And he's racked up a few wins. But don't for a second think that Adrian Broner is going to lose this fight. There's no way in the world he'll lose that fight. Now, if for some reason he does, then it's over for AB. But after he clips this guy, especially if he destroys him, Boxing Daily Podcast says Teofimo feels disrespected because Top Rank gave Taylor a 5-minute segment and they gave Teo a 53-second segment. Hey, what's up, Daily Podcast, Boxing Daily Podcast? Let me tell you this, man. First, with AB, if he loses, then it's over for him. But when it comes to Teofimo Lopez, right? Why would they give him more than 53 seconds? I think by them giving him that 53 seconds, I think they did him a favor. In my opinion, you look at what Teofimo Lopez has scatterbrain, man. And I'm not trying to make fun of him. I don't think what's going on with him is bad, but when he gets in front of the microphone, Teofimo Lopez has been putting his foot in his mouth. And remember, when it comes to Top Rank, they don't want to deal with anything that deals with race anymore. You know, they got a lot of heat from Mayweather saying, hey, you know, Top Rank didn't know how to take care of him. Yeah, that's right. Top Rank didn't know how to take care of Mayweather as a black athlete. That's when it really started bubbling up, those conversations. Top Rank seemed to have weathered the storm, and they did admit down the road that, hey, we didn't really understand the urban audience, which for them to admit that means that they can grow. But then now you come and you have Terrence Crawford. And you know Terrence Crawford sued them and everything else. It all comes back to the thing with race. They felt that they could have done more with him, but as a black fighter, he didn't get the same treatment as non-black fighters. Let me tell you, when people start talking race and there's lawsuits, people get scared. So then basically it's like they got rid of Crawford. It was like, good, boom, get his ass out of here. They're on cruise control. Top Rank thought they had finally figured it out. We got Shakur Stevenson. We got Keyshawn Davis, right? And remember, Keyshawn was a professional, then went to the Olympics, picked up that silver medal, and then came back. Keyshawn Davis should probably have about 20 fights right now. But that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, with Top Rank, they said, yo, we got Keyshawn, we got Shakur Stevenson, and we have Jared Anderson. We're going to make sure we're putting, and I don't talk race, but it is what it is, those black fighters on the same fight cards, and we're going to make sure we market them right. We're going to make sure that they're getting paid handsomely, and we're going to make sure we do this in accordance with the lessons learned from how we didn't manage our black fighters before. And then all of a sudden, now you got Teofimo Lopez who comes out here. Yeah, I'm serious, right? Because you know they were on eggshells. Like you look at how they're handling Keyshawn Davis, how they're handling what's his name, Jared Anderson, and how they're handling Shakur Stevenson. They've been, talking about knocking the ball out the park. They've been hitting the home runs with those three, but that's because Terrence Crawford put a little heat. He put a little heat on them, didn't he? And then all of a sudden, they think they've got the winning recipe. And Teofimo Lopez comes out here, and he's like, Bob Arum hates Latinos. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah, I'm done with Top Rank. After this fight, I'm over. Yeah, they can have the black fighters. When he said that, I'm going to be honest, I had to play that clip like 10 times. I'm like, Teofimo Lopez talking like this? I'm like, what happened for Teofimo Lopez to come out here and be like, Bob Arum, he can have black fighters? Because I'm watching it, right? Because like you all, I follow boxing. But I'm watching it, and I start giggling. So then I go and do what I normally do. I have a certain boxing page I go to, and I pull it up. I say, well, damn, what's the ranking stack as far as the ring, as far as the boxing rankings? Who's Teofimo fighting next? And then I say, damn, Teofimo's out here talking about Top Rank is biased to black fighters, and he's getting the short end of the stick. But he's about to fight Josh Taylor? How are you getting the short end of the stick? At the end of the day, Josh Taylor was the undisputed champ at 140. No one beat him. So yeah, he's no longer technically the undisputed, but Josh Taylor is still the undisputed. And trust me, if he had those belts, Top Rank would have lined Teofimo up. So Teofimo is getting an opportunity, in my opinion, he did not earn. And I'm not for Teofimo. I'm not against Teofimo. Let's just frame the argument the right way. Teofimo, he looked great with Joey Gamache. I keep saying this, I'm like a broken record now. When he fought Comey. Teofimo looked great when he had Gamache, when he fought Lomachenko, right? I don't want to hear nothing about Lomachenko was injured. Man, get out of here with that. He looked great. The whole thing about going against Kambosos, Triller, the Top Rank not winning the purse bid, now all of a sudden there's no money to pay Gamache to keep him on the team. They should have paid him out of pocket. Gamache bounced. Teofimo goes in and fight Kambosos. Now, we got to be fair now. Teofimo getting down to 135. Teofimo don't take it to the stupid. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Teofimo took it to the stupid. But let's be fair. One thing about Teofimo, him cutting down to 135 for a moment in time is okay. You get there, day of the weigh-in, you hit the weight, boom, you rehydrate, you're good. But he had to get down to that moment in time. Oh, fight's been rescheduled. So now he has to manage his weight and keep it in a space where he normally wouldn't stay longer than just, an hour maybe, 30 minutes maybe. And then it gets rescheduled again. So now he has to juggle another 2 weeks, a month. Then it gets rescheduled several more times. So Teofimo had to keep his weight to where he would normally only be a moment in time. He had to keep it there for multiple months. And then he goes to fight Kambosos. We all know he tried to basically muscle him, overpower him, bully him. First round, Teofimo gets tranquilized. You know what I'm saying? He got tranquilized. Ducky H says the hype is real. If the Josh that fought Jose Ramirez shows up, Teofimo is going to take a beating. Ducky H, man, boom, spot on, man. I ought to put $10 in your Cash App for just being honest. But Teofimo goes and fights Kambosos. He got tranquilized in the first round. He didn't have nothing. But what I'm getting at, right, is he never looked the same. He didn't earn the Josh Taylor fight. So then he comes out of 140. He says he's going to dominate, right? 135, I should have left a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? His dad, yeah, you're going to see the best. Teofimo to take over. Yeah, blah, boom. You know his dad always making noise, right? So he gets to 140. Think it's Campos. He looked less than stellar. We're like, damn, 140 may not be for him. Then he fights Sandor Martin. Some people think he lost. Then at the end of the fight, he's like, man, do I still have it? Do I still have it? And then now they put him up here to fight Josh Taylor. And you're complaining? So yeah, coming full circle. I don't think Top Rank is biased to black fighters. I don't think they're biased to Hispanic fighters. I don't think, well, I mean, they're biased to Lomachenko because I seen Bob Arum kiss Lomachenko on the cheek. So, you know, I ain't never seen Bob Arum kiss. I never seen him kiss nobody else on no goddamn cheek. But when I saw him put a little, you know, grandpa kiss on Lomachenko, I said, yeah, anybody fighting Lomachenko, it's over for them. They can't win it. Bob Arum is biased as hell to them Ukrainians. But that's his right. But at the end of the day, for Teofimo to get this opportunity, he's lucky. He doesn't deserve it. But that being said, I think he's going to get tranquilized, man. Josh Taylor is a monster. And like Ducky H just said, the Josh Taylor that fought Ramirez, Teofimo's going to get tranquilized. The Josh Taylor that banged with Regis Prograis, every single person in the boxing community, especially between 135 and 160, who has sparred with Regis Prograis, just like Tank Davis, they say Regis Prograis' hands are super fast and he hits extremely hard. Josh Taylor banged with Regis Prograis. So you know what that tells me? A lot about Regis and Josh Taylor, and that helped to elevate their profiles. Now, let's understand this with Josh Taylor. That's a bad Scottish. He's the last king of Scotland, is what I call him. But Josh Taylor supposedly struggles to get down to 140. Says he has a dietitian. Him getting to 140 is no problem. He actually went on record during one of the interviews over the last couple of days, and Josh Taylor said he could actually fight at 140 the rest of his career. Now, we know they all come out and say that. That's like hearing a boxer say, I got the best jab in the business. Remember Larry Holmes? I got the best jab in the business. Everybody feels they can do something for the rest of their career, and when it comes to them being in the business of boxing, they're not gonna tell you their weaknesses. I personally think Josh Taylor can make 140 for the moment in time, but I think it's tough. Look, when you get older, metabolism, your body changes. It's just, even your eyesight goes bad. It's just things that happen. But that being said, I don't know if Teofimo has enough to come in there and even compete with Josh Taylor. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Athletically, Teofimo Lopez, you got to give him credit. He's got what it takes athletically. But up here, right? What's going on up here? I think Teofimo Lopez has gone cuckoo. I think he's gone cuckoo. And I don't say that to be funny. Yo, that man has a lot going on. He was just talking about killing Josh Taylor. He was even talking about dying in the ring. This is what we signed up for. Then he comes back, he starts talking about the Bible and the book of Jobs and God and the devil and, and they took all the man's camels and took his sheep and they took his this. And I'm like, what the hell is he, my man? You want to be a damn deacon? Or you want to be a boxer and kill people? I mean, you got Claude and Ray. You about to start round 2 of the killing spree. He's confused, man. And all joking aside, what's really sad is Teofimo Lopez, he ain't seen his daughter. Let me tell y'all something. I think y'all would agree with me. That's rough, man. You know, and with me, I'm retired. Like this, I do just for fun. I enjoy boxing. I love boxing, so I like talking about it. But I'm retired, man. Okay? Let me tell y'all something. Andre Ward said Teofimo has loose screws upstairs. Right. I heard him say that. You know, Andre Ward also said, it's funny that, because I didn't know he said this till someone posted a comment. He said that Teofimo, people need to pray for him. And it's funny he said that, because I said the same thing. Like, he needs a good support system around him. I said, really, that man needs prayers, because, like me, I'm retired military, right? 25 years, right? Everyone on the channel who follow me, every now and then I talk about it and I give a story. So let me give y'all a story, right? I knew something. I'm gonna give you. This is real talk. I'm gonna give you. There was a young man who had come into our section, kind of like Teofimo, man. Happy, excited, felt good. His career was going well, everything. Things started going wrong in his personal life. The wife, another man, a child, coming in late to work. All of a sudden, his professional life went crazy, and then his personal life started going crazy. His professional life started unraveling. So this man at work, he was catching hell because he's coming in late, but he's not really telling us what's going on. So we gotta hold everybody to the same standard. Next thing you know, the wife decides she wants to leave him. Now, she was wrong for a lot, but she took his child. He went crazy. Anyway, coming to work, people weren't really supporting that man the way they should have. All of a sudden, he started talking the shit. Same thing like Teofimo. Yeah, man, I don't care if I die, I die. I don't care what y'all gonna do to me. Kick me out the military. I don't care, man. I'm ready to die. Put me in jail. Like, he just started talking some random stuff. So I had to step in. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'll talk to him. And I pulled him aside and I was like, look, we can't help you unless you tell me what's going on. Because sometimes the people in the military, if they haven't gone through real life experiences, they can't come and help nobody, man. I've been through a lot. So I talked to him, and then I found out, I said, okay, man, and I told him, I said, he's not getting a break in his professional career. He's not getting a break when he goes home. And he can't leave his mind behind. So his mind going 24/7. Anyway, he comes to work like 2 days later. Now he's talking about the Bible and God. And I said, when people hit rock bottom, they start talking about religion. And he ended up trying to commit suicide. It wasn't successful, because if he really wanted to do it, he could have. But he tried. We were able to intervene, got him back on track. And I told him, I said, what you're going through right now is temporary. I'm not going to say I understand, because I've never been through what you're going through. But I'm going to tell you, with time, it'll get better. So anyway, we got him some help and everything. Hell, after, my man, smooth sailing. After about 6 months, things settled down. Him, the wife, they separated. He got partial custody of the daughter. And he was all right. And to this day, he and I have a good relationship. But with Teofimo Lopez, I see that he's going down the same path. And when I watched that, that's why I did that video. I'm like, that's a bad sign. When somebody who doesn't talk about religion starts talking about religion and starts talking about killing people and dying, those are red flags. That there needs to be some kind of intervention. So for Teofimo Lopez to go up against Josh Taylor, I don't care what no one says, I don't think he's mentally healthy, man. It's hard for me to give him a chance against Josh Taylor. It's just hard for me. Josh Taylor can box on the inside. He can fight on the inside, fight at mid-range. He can counter you. He has super powerful left hand, man. He can get on the outside and box circles around you. Josh Taylor is a complete fighter. How is Teofimo going to get in there and deal with a complete fighter? I put it to you this way. Kambosos wasn't a complete fighter. He didn't have the height. He didn't have the reach. He didn't have the skill set of Josh Taylor. Sandor Martin didn't have the skill set of Josh Taylor. And Ocampo didn't have the skill set of Josh Taylor. So you tell me what it is that Teofimo Lopez has done in this training camp that's going to create that separation from the Teofimo who fought his first two fights at 140 to now go in here and say, you know what, we should give him a chance against Josh Taylor. Now his dad and Teofimo are letting everyone know, oh, we recognize what we were doing wrong, right? Now I got way off the subject off Adrian Broner, but we're going to get back to that. They're out here saying, we recognize what he was doing wrong and we've corrected it. And now Teofimo's getting hit less in sparring. When they asked him, well, what was it that you recognized? He couldn't really answer. Now, I'm going to tell you what's really going on. And I don't think it's fixed. The problem with Teofimo is he doesn't have that goddamn Joy Gamache. Now, for those of you saying, why you keep bringing up Joy Gamache? Who's Joy Gamache? I'm going to tell you who he is. You seen that highlight of Arturo Gatti The one where he steps back, he throws that uppercut, he throws that right hook, left hook, I think right hook, and that guy's head is just all over the place and he falls and just gets knocked out. That's Joey Gamache. But I'm not saying that to say basically, hey, he got knocked out and he's not a good trainer. No, what I'm telling you is that's the guy, because everyone knows that highlight. But he was 50-something wins, I think 5 or 6 losses, two-time world champion, a two-weight world champion. Joey Gamache knows boxing. And until he decides to bring someone like that back, because remember, Teofimo's dad, just like some of these other guys who train boxers, they never stepped in the ring, you know what I'm saying? I have, like a lot of you, I've done a lot of sparring. I've had matches, okay? Not as a professional, but I've been in the ring. So I understand, just like a lot of you. But the problem with Teofimo's dad, he's never fought. Victor says Teofimo's going to lose. I think so. His dad's never fought. So he can only take his son, in my opinion, so far. Devin Haney's dad's never boxed. But you know what's the difference? Devin Haney's dad always has smart people around to ensure that Devin Haney was a well-rounded fighter, and he developed that way. The reason why he had him in all those different camps with all those trainers was because he recognized the deficit in him as a trainer, and he set his pride aside for the benefit of his son. Teofimo's dad, in my opinion, needs to do that again if Teofimo wants to have a chance. Now, that being said, let's say Teofimo beats him. Now we're about to get back on AB. Adrian Broner is in a good position, okay? AB, about billions, always balling, athletic bastard, right? All those crap nicknames he has for himself. You figure from 135 to 140, if Adrian Broner, he's going to get past the attorney. Let's say he takes on Ryan Garcia next. They're already calling. It's Oscar De La Hoya. You know Oscar De La Hoya, man. He just wants the money. Oscar De La Hoya is looking to cash out. For those of you who say, man, you're just saying that, you're making up crap. No. Remember last year he talked about selling Golden Boy. Remember? He said he has the $1 billion business, right? Promotional company. I'm not making that up. And then he comes on the Twitter a few months later, remember? And he says, oh, we got some investors. They're looking to pay billions of dollars for the promotion, for my promotional company. That's what he said. So when he started talking that, I said, damn, Oscar is looking to cash out. Because we've been hearing for years that Oscar doesn't run the company. He's the face of the company, but he doesn't run it. They say Oscar just parties, right? So when you look at what Oscar has done, he took Zurdo Ramirez, kind of threw him to the wolves. You know what I'm saying? He's got Virgil Ortiz about to go, and he protected him as long as he could. And I think Virgil Ortiz is a problem. Boxing Daily Podcast says, Teofimo's father said that they won't have an assistant coach against Josh Taylor. Yeah, I know. And that's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. And I just think there's pride and greed, okay? I think that we may have to call them the greedy bellies too, because pride and greed is an effort. But then you come now and you look at with De La Hoya, you got Ryan Garcia. Why would you make that fight with Tank Davis? And this is the thing. You got Ryan Garcia over there with Joe Goosen. Joe Goosen didn't even try to help him. But Ryan Garcia goes, they cashed him out. Now, they know that Ryan Garcia can sell pay-per-view, right? Because I don't care what no one says. Tank didn't sell that pay-per-view by itself. He and Ryan Garcia came together, the two of them, they complemented each other, and as a result, they did big numbers. I personally think Ryan Garcia had a lot to do with that 800,000 to 1.4 million buys. That's just my opinion. But that being said, they're looking to take Ryan Garcia. He's already out here saying, look, if Adrian Broner, if you win, I'm going to call you. Let's make Ryan Garcia and Adrian Broner. Now, for those of you who are saying, you know what, Hood, you're just creating your own narrative. Oscar De La Hoya is not trying to cash Ryan out. Why would he do that? Well, to that, I have to say this in the most respectful way, that I kindly request that you hold your horses and don't take it to the stupid. Ryan Garcia is talking about fighting Rolly Romero. Victor says the takeover is going to be AB. He coming back to take over 135, 140. I think that can happen. Ryan Garcia is talking about fighting Rolly Romero. He's not talking about anything else. He wants to fight Rolly. Rolly wants to fight Ryan. Y'all know what happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. Rolly and Ryan learned from Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. They saw how that fight, it was nowhere in the world, Terrence Crawford, and make sure y'all hit the like button. There's nowhere in the world Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence would have fought if they let those promoters, those managers, those advisors, and the secret society continue to get involved. Because the greedy bellies, man, they got on the horn and they set it up and they made it happen. And when they were talking, they were having those aha moments. Crawford telling Spence X, Y, and Z. Spence like, oh, really? Damn, I didn't know that. Spence talking to Crawford. Crawford like, oh, yeah? What? They got to cut the fat. They started talking, fight happened. So now you got Ryan Garcia and Rolly. They're friends. They're talking. They want to make the fight. But it goes back to what I was saying. De La Hoya's trying to cash him out. And this is why I say that. De La Hoya's come out here talking about Rolly. Make sure you hit the like button. Fighting Manny Pacquiao. Garcia fighting Manny Pacquiao. Ryan Garcia's on Twitter like, I don't know anything about fighting Manny Pacquiao. That's not a conversation that we've had. De La Hoya's sitting there, man, looking stupid. Now all of a sudden, Oscar De La Hoya is trying to make the Adrian Broner fight for Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is sitting there like, that's not what I want. Rolly Romero's what I want. But if you think about it, Rolly Romero, if you let him tell you, Rolly Romero's going to tell you that he's a pay-per-view star, right? That's what Rolly's going to tell you. I don't know if Rolly's a pay-per-view star. He's entertaining, but I don't know if he's a pay-per-view star. But what I will tell you, and one thing I do know is, Ryan Garcia against Rolly, pay-per-view may be okay. Ryan Garcia against Manny Pacquiao, what are those pay-per-view numbers going to look like? Pacquiao returning to the sport of boxing. Remember, Manny Pacquiao, he doesn't just have a country behind him. It's not just Manny Pacquiao in the Philippines. That man has a whole continent, the whole continent of Asia. Shit, he may have North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Antarctica. He may have all 7 continents behind him. That's just being honest. So Ryan Garcia and Manny Pacquiao, as far as Oscar De La Hoya, he fought Pacquiao. He's already trying to put the spin on it. Oh, I have Ryan Garcia to come and avenge my loss to Manny Pacquiao. This is what Oscar De La Hoya is out here saying. So he's already creating the narrative and trying to get people to buy into it. We all know that everybody would watch Manny Pacquiao against Ryan Garcia. And De La Hoya knows that's where the money's at. But if they can't make that, how many people would tune in to watch Ryan Garcia against Adrian Broner? Let's just be real. How many people would tune in to watch that? A whole lot of people. Adrian Broner's another guy. He doesn't just have a state or a city behind him. People from all over the world love Adrian Broner because he's crazy. They like him. He's entertaining and he has a nice personality. He's made some bad decisions, but he just has swag. You know what the young boys say? Swag, right? He's got swag. He's got what I say. I don't say swag because I'm 48. I ain't talking that young boy shit. He's got charisma. So when you look at it, who sells the most? Oscar De La Hoya, Pacquiao, Garcia, they do big numbers. Broner Garcia does big numbers. Garcia, Rolly Romero, roll of the dice. De La Hoya don't have time for that. But Ryan wants to fight Rolly. You understand? He wants to fight Rolly. And if he fights Rolly, because Ryan just got paid. Y'all got to understand this, man. Got to understand this, right? Ryan Garcia doesn't need money. So he's not worried about selling $2 million in pay-per-view buys. Ryan Garcia wants a title. That's why he wants to fight Rolly. Plus they're buddies. But he fights him, he gets the title at 140. Ryan Garcia is good to go. But the money thing, that's De La Hoya's focus. That's not necessarily Ryan Garcia's focus. So there's a huge conflict. So in my opinion, Ryan Garcia, he already cut the fat with Joe Goosen. He's over there in Texas. I'm not sure how that's going to go, especially when those guys in the camp talk about put some D on that right hand, which I've never heard nothing like that. I'm not sure how it's going to go at Ryan Garcia over there with Derek James, but I think it can only be up coming out of a camp with a trainer who didn't even try to help you. I think now that he's cut the fat with the trainer, he needs to figure out a way to get the hell away from Oscar De La Hoya. That's my opinion, okay? But nonetheless, Adrian Broner and Ryan Garcia is a fight that could happen. Now, I'm going to finish my thoughts on Broner and what's going on with 135 and 140. The Villainous Hero says, how can Broner take over 135 and 140 when Tanker Shakira in those weight classes? Well, we're about to talk about that, Villainous Hero. So now you got Broner and Ryan Garcia. Now, this is the thing with Adrian Broner. He's never lost at 130. He's never lost at 135. He's never lost at 140. At 147, he peaked, okay? It just happens. You know what I'm saying? He's a much smaller guy. His power, he's strong, but it just wasn't able to have that effect on those guys at 147 like he was in the lower weight classes. So we're going to see if the thing with Adrian Broner, if he can actually get down to 135, because he said he would. He said he could. But 140 is where he's focusing right now. But for the right 4-for-1 deal, he'll get down there and fight a guy like Devin Haney. Remember, the 4-for-1 deal is sweet. Could you imagine if Adrian Broner was able to get down to 135 and fight Devin Haney? Who do you have winning that fight? Now, if Adrian Broner doesn't let his hands go, that's why I said we got to wait and see what Adrian Broner shows up Friday and what Adrian Broner, in between the fight this weekend and his next fight, what Adrian Broner is going to show up during that downtime. Is he going to be disciplined? Is he going to start indulging in alcohol? Is he going to be out here tricking, buying prostitutes? Is he going to be out here blowing money? Is he going to blow up in between fights? Like, we got to see what happens. He's with Don King. I'm not quite sure Don King is going to be able to control AB, but if Adrian Broner can remain disciplined, we may see AB be able to make a fight with Devin Haney. There's some background there. And there's a narrative, there's a storyline that can be created. And then Adrian Broner comes back out of obscurity, clips the attorney, and then goes into a big fight. Maybe he takes on Haney and gets a 4-for-1 deal. But I don't think that's going to be something happening anytime soon. But at 140, who do y'all think will win between AB and Rolly Romero? Let's just be real. Adrian Broner and Rolly Romero. Got to give AB the benefit of the doubt on that, especially if he can remain disciplined. I think he would beat Rolly Romero. I honestly do. For those of you saying Adrian Broner will get knocked out, how? How did he get knocked out? With that chin he has in that defense, Adrian Broner's not going to get knocked out by anybody. Maidana couldn't knock him out. So let's just stop right there. All right? At 147, mess around with Spence and some of those other guys, he could have some problems, but no one's knocking him out. But that being said, now, Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis. Make sure we understand something with Tank Davis, man, and Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is an outstanding fighter, outstanding boxer, but he's a small guy. Shakur Stevenson's already said he won't go up above 135 because he's too small for those guys at 140. Now, with time, as he gets older and his body matures, he may bubble up, but right now, Shakur Stevenson knows 135 is probably it for him at this moment. Even Tank Davis, him bubbling up to 140 is going to be pick and choosing. But with Adrian Broner, just because of his skill set, because of his size, because of his power and his IQ, if he shows that he can be consistent and disciplined, right, and increase his punch output, because Adrian Broner can fight. He just, we know the story with Adrian Broner in his hands. We already know. I'm not going to get into that. But right now, I won't give him that much of a chance. But if he can show consistency, I think in the next few fights, it would be interesting. And everybody would buy into it, right? Now, I'm not taking it to the stupid saying Adrian Broner is going to go beat Shakur Stevenson right now. Adrian Broner would knock out Tank Davis right now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the discipline, consistency, and to show us that, you know what, this man's really here in this last final leg of his career. And it's showing, you know what, I'm going to perform to my potential in and out the ring. And he may do it. That's all I'm saying. Villainous hero, Adari Pennant, what's going on? He says, if the heavyweight undisputed doesn't happen next, people should boycott. Yeah, that whole heavyweight thing is crazy. We're going to talk about that too. The villainous hero. I've been saying Haney is suspect, but he seems to have guts and heart. Broner was nice back in the day, but how much liquor has he consumed over the past 5 years? I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. It's going to take some time for Adrian. We just got to see. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be the first one to tell you right now. I did a video and said with Adrian Broner, I did it the last couple of months. I said Adrian Broner is toxic. I said he's toxic. Okay? I said we should still support him, but I'm going to be here with the long-handled spoon. I'm not the guy with the arm around the shoulder anymore with Adrian Broner. When he didn't show up to that press conference, that Tank Davis made sure to carve out time for his press conferences with Ryan Garcia during fight week. He carved out time for Broner to have a little press conference. That way all the cameras were there, the media was there, and Broner didn't show up. I said right then, boom, long handle spoon him. That's a bad sign. But we just have to see what Adrian Broner does. But stylistically, look, Tank Davis, southpaw style, great boxer, great feints, setting traps. But understand this, man. Tank and what's his name, Broner, have sparred a lot. Broner and Earl Spence have sparred a lot trying to kill each other. So it's not like they're unfamiliar with each other. They don't know each other's strengths. So that's what makes the fight interesting too. And then Broner and Shakur Stevenson. Remember this, right? Let's not forget this. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of miles on Adrian Broner. He's an old 33. But he can reverse some of that damage by an active lifestyle, healthy living, right? But Maidana said Broner was the hardest puncher he's ever faced. And any and everyone who talks about Broner say Broner is freakishly strong and hits extremely hard. That being said, you can say, oh, well, he lost to Mikey Garcia. He got in there, barely beat Jesse Vargas. You know, he got in there, he should have lost to Granados. But he didn't let his hands go the way he should have, because we understand what happened when he got his cage rattled a little bit, by Maidana. That messed with him a little bit. Okay, so Haney has guts and heart. Yeah, Haney does have guts and heart. But I tell you what, I don't know with Devin Haney, right? Haney's a special fighter. I got to give him credit. I went back and watched that fight with Lomachenko. And I'm going to tell you, I saw things differently. So I don't have nothing bad to say about Devin Haney. But I think I'm at this when it comes to Devin Haney. Before I was like, in his next fight, he probably going to lose. He just doesn't seem qualified to me. It's just a matter of time. I don't say that no more. Now I say with Devin Haney, at any fight he gets in, he finds a way to win. He elevates his game. That's what Devin Haney does. There's something special about him. You're watching him. It's like with Danny Garcia at 140 and 147. And he was out there beating all these guys. You're watching him and thinking, man, he looks simple. Someone's going to catch up to him. He can't continue down this path forever. And he just kept winning because he kept elevating his game. There was levels to it. And you hear these boxers say it all the time. Oh, there's levels to this. No, there really are. And Devin Haney is showing that he has levels. And if he was to fight anybody next, it'd be hard for me to say Devin Haney doesn't have a chance. That's all I'm saying. I just think it's hard to say he doesn't have a chance because he's shown that he can fight on the inside. Those body shots were super powerful. But at the end of the day, when he fought Lomachenko, let's not get it twisted. Lomachenko is probably the best amateur ever, boxing amateur that ever existed. But he's a 126-pounder. Killing people at 126, kill him at 130, couldn't get the fights he wants, so Lomachenko had to come up to 135, a weight division he shouldn't be in. So Devin Haney was much bigger than him, but Lomachenko was, trying to give him the business. But at the end of the day, he had great moments in every round, but he just didn't do enough, all right? And when you go back and watch that fight, if you didn't, turn the volume off. And I scored it by the minute. And just watch by the minute. And I don't see how you could come to any other conclusion than Devin Haney won the fight. Okay? Simple. Victor says, Broner's 33, but his body's 45, too much abuse. Yeah, it's a lot of abuse. I think he can reverse some of that. But that's just a reality. We're going to see how he performs this weekend and what happens after this fight and in between his next fight. What's he going to do? Is he going to remain disciplined or is he going to go back to abusing his body? And if he does, I just think there's nothing that can be done for him. And he could be in a situation, he's not with his the girl he was, the wife, he divorced her, he's out here single again. So he's kind of going through like a Teofimo moment. You know what I'm saying? And it's rough. You've seen Broner in the past and his posts and wanna die. Who's to say? I don't think he's totally resolved those issues either. So he's in a similar situation like Teofimo. If we're being real about it, that you can't leave your mind behind. But we're going to see what happens. And them Charlos going through it too. That's crazy. Victor says, Adrian burned all the bridges in boxing. He's done making big paydays. I think Adrian Broner, being with Don King, if Adrian Broner can get a big win this Friday, if he can look good this Friday and come back and get a big win, Adrian Broner's going to get big money. People are going to get right back behind Adrian Broner no matter what. You know what I'm saying? People are still rooting for him. AB is a likable guy. Everyone who talks about Adrian Broner, away from the camera, away from this whole thing about just trying to entertain people, they say Adrian Broner is a real, genuine, good, great human being. That's why you watch Robert Garcia when he talks about him. Everyone refers to Adrian Broner as their friend. Everyone speaks positively about him. They say it's just when he gets in front of that camera, he knows how to sell himself, how to market himself, how to keep his name out there. And that's not a bad thing. But that being said, when it comes to Adrian Broner, we know that he burnt some bridges. Look, Al Heyman, Ellerby, and one thing I'm gonna tell you, that's why it's always important to just be professional, man. Be professional. You got Al Heyman. He doesn't really show his face on camera, but Adrian Broner talking to Al Heyman and talking about what's up, my N-word. Not B-ass N-word. Nah, that's not what we're doing. I need my money. I need my this. I talk to Al how I talk to everybody else. Let me tell you something. You may think that's cool, being real. And I will say this. I think everyone should be who they are. It's okay. Not everyone's going to like you. Be yourself. But at the same time, if you are here representing someone's brand, then you got to stop keeping it so real and just start to keep it professional. You see, you can never go wrong with keeping it professional, but it's keeping it real crap. Oh yeah, you can go wrong with keeping it real. You're keeping it real stupid. So he burned some bridges, and that's why they didn't want. He's in the situation he's in now. You look at what happened. He had a fight. He was supposed to fight with BOK Prime. He had fight lined up, didn't he? He started talking that crap about Al Heyman and how he didn't get all his money, millions of dollars, how he's still getting money and all this stuff. He started talking about the business, right? And then all of a sudden, that fight with Red Cats got canceled, didn't it? Secret Society at work. Then all of a sudden, Hank Lumley got canceled. And then this, I don't even know what the kid's name is. I forgot. Roy Jones was training him. Then that got canceled. So you tell me that the Secret Society doesn't exist. We can talk about that. So what I'm getting at is you're right. He burnt those bridges. He burnt those bridges, man. But now he's with Don King. You know, it's just like I said, people start talking about religion when they hit rock bottom. You goddamn hit rock bottom in your boxing career when you got to go to Don King. But we're going to see. But I tell you what, if he strings up a couple of wins, yeah, you better believe people are going to get back behind him, and Adrian Broner is going to make good money. He's going to make good money. Right here, the villainous hero. He says Haney should hire a real trainer. Victor says he had a 7-5 for Haney. Yeah, most people had Haney winning. If they go back and watch the fight, most people have rescored it, and then they have Haney winning. Haney should hire a real trainer. You know, he's got his pops. He's got smart people around him. I think that's why Haney keeps getting better, because his dad has smart people around him. His dad's not just doing all the training. They have smart people around Haney. That's why you see Haney just doing things and getting better. And, you know, I saw him doing stuff in the fight with Lomachenko I've never seen him do before. So they have a game plan, and they try to stick to it and execute. The villainous hero says, yes, Loma can't fight 135 pounders. Nah, he needs to draw back down to the smaller weight division. You know what I'm saying? And there's no knock against him. But I tell you what, we're talking about Lomachenko. Look, Lomachenko, we're talking about Haney. I'm willing to bet. I don't even gamble. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I bet you Lomachenko is going to fight Haney again. I'm willing to bet somebody, man, $5, cash out, that Lomachenko ends up fighting Haney in a rematch. Because when you think about Devin Haney, right? You think about what opportunity he has next. Devin Haney and Adrian Broner is kind of in the same position. After Adrian Broner gets past this guy, him and Haney, it's like, okay, who do I fight next? Adrian Broner says he wants to go straight for a title at 140. Devin Haney's looking to do the same thing. Ryan Garcia's looking to do the same thing. So Haney, Tank, and Garcia are all right there, looking for the next big opportunity. But for Devin Haney, fighting Regis Prograis is looking at possibly fighting Devin Haney, but really can Devin Haney handle the power of Regis Prograis? But I'm going to say Haney elevates his game. It's an interesting fight stylistically, but I think Prograis will tranquilize Devin Haney. So then you look at Regis Prograis if Josh Taylor beats Teofimo. You look at Devin Haney if Josh Taylor beats Teofimo. Devin Haney fighting Josh Taylor. Not so sure that's the fight they want, especially when you see that what's his name was landing so many, was getting some left hands through on him. Okay, and Lomachenko's a much smaller fighter who's a great boxer. Josh Taylor's a great boxer, much bigger, and that southpaw. So I just think that's a fight they would avoid. But when you look at where he can make the most money in a fight that he should be able to win, now you're talking about Devin Haney and Lomachenko, the rematch. Plus, when you look at how these sanctioning bodies in the secret society kept Lomachenko ranked at #1, and two of the sanctioning bodies, I think it's the WBO and the WBC, right? They're trying to push him as the mandatory on Devin Haney. And this is what sucks about boxing. They push him as the mandatory. If he chooses that, I don't want to fight Lomachenko again, now what happens? They take them belts off of him. And now Devin Haney loses the belts. Lomachenko gets to fight for a vacated title, probably pick up his title, and they get Devin Haney out of there. Let me tell you something. When you're not doing what Devin Haney, when you're not doing what the secret society wants you to do, the sanctioning bodies want you to do, they'll force that fight on you. Look at Spence and Crawford. A year and a half, no activity for the most part. You know what I mean? Forget that fight with Evanesian. Really no activity. When there's no activity, those sanctioning bodies, those belts aren't being defended. There's no money being generated. Do y'all understand? Sanctioning bodies want their belts defended like 3 times a year. You got your mandatory, you got your voluntary. You understand? But they want them belts defended like 3-4 times a year. What they would like to see is the belt changing hands every few fights, or the person who's the champion remain the champion 3, 4, 5 years, but they're defending it against elite competition. They're just showing that they're better. But when there's a lull in activity and that money's not being generated, oh, that's a problem. So what do they do with Spence and Crawford? They start forcing mandatories. They start putting that pressure on them. And well, they had to come back and make that fight, because if not, they were going to have to fight lesser known opponents for smaller money. And it's just a matter of time before one of them would have lost, in my opinion. Okay? So now Devin Haney looks to me like they're about to do the same thing to him. And if they were to do that, I'm going to tell you right now. If belts were to come loose at 135, Adrian Broner, if he had the discipline to get down, he'd get down and he'd pick one up. But we'll have to see. What's his name? Pyres. He says, I want Keith Thurman to pull up in the after Crawford and Spence. Hey, Keith Thurman, I don't know what he's doing. He's supposed to be fighting in August. But we're going to see if he can get active, man. But Keith Thurman just had a second daughter. Keith Thurman's got money. And, Keith Thurman, you know what he's reminding me of? Like me, I'm 48, graduated high school at 18, right? Now, when I talk to some of my friends, back from high school, there's still that one guy. I was the prom king, or the girl. I used to be the prom queen. Nobody want to hear about that shit. You know what I'm saying? You still out here living in the past of stuff you did when you was 17, 18, 19. That's over, Mr. Prom King, Prom Queen. I was the starting running back for the football team. Well, now you out here sniffing luggage in the airport, champ. Like, get over it. It's over. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Keith Thurman reminds me of. The guy who wants to talk about how he was the prom king. Or I was the starting running back for the football team. Keith Thurman. It's over, man. You got to come back now and show us that you're still that guy. Now, Keith Thurman's been inactive for a while. By choice. He said he had some injuries, but also by choice. He got a family now. Priorities change, man. But the thing, Keith Thurman's just going to come back and just go straight into a fight with the elite. I think that's crazy. But I do know this. There's 4 fights on the table for Keith Thurman. Let me pull this up for y'all. I need to show y'all this, right? Because right now, there are 4 fights on the table for Keith Thurman. And we talked about this. But they're not pushover fights either. They are not pushover fights for Keith Thurman. And we were trying to figure out who could possibly be on the chopping block for Keith Thurman. Because to be honest with you, I don't know. But we were sitting there trying to figure it out. Who could possibly be up next for Keith Thurman? Where is my? I want to show you all this thing that I pull it up all the time. Where the hell is boxing rankings by weight class? Because Keith Thurman, I'm getting ready to pull something up for you. Keith Thurman has. Let me see. Is this it? I think this is it right here. Okay, here it is. Here it is. So when you look at Keith Thurman at welterweight, right? Let me show y'all something while we're talking. Okay, so this is what we got here at welterweight. Make this a little bit bigger for you. Spence and Crawford are busy. Ennis is coming back right now. Yuga's supposed to be fighting Mario Barrios. Ortiz and Stanionis are scrapping. Butiev is available. Crowley's available. Vanessian's available. I don't think it's Rocha. But when you come down and you look, Keith Thurman, he's rack and stacked here in the WBC as the number one as a mandatory. But when you start taking a look at what's out there, right? Keith Thurman says he wants a big name. We know he's not fighting Conor Benn. Could be Mean Machine. I doubt it's a Vanessian. Butiev. So you got Butiev, you got Mean Machine, and then you got Blair Cobb, Rashidi Ellis. You got Cody Crowley, right? So just out of those names that we just talked about, those could be some of the guys that Keith Thurman comes back to fight. Now, is he going to come back and fight a Mean Machine? Is he going to come back and fight a Butiev? I don't know. But what I'm getting at is Keith Thurman, he's looking to come back and he's looking to scrap with some of the top guys at 147 pounds. So we just got to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? We just got to see what happens with Keith Thurman. Victor says, I like AB. He's funny. Victor, selling yourself is good. Flushing money ain't. Yeah, that was dumb, seeing him flush all that money. Pyre says, boxing is not a joke. You get in the ring. Absolutely, it's not. Pennant says, WBC President Mauricio Suleiman needs to be fired from boxing forever. We all know Mauricio the Nose Suleiman is, that man's going to do whatever he has to keep making money. He's caught up in all the stuff behind the scenes. I don't care what he says. When he has those conferences, Suleiman has referees there, promoters there, managers there, sometimes fighters are there. And when they're all there, what do you think's happening at those conferences? Palms are getting greased, man. This isn't something that I'm just saying. Now, I'm going off of me being a common sense man, and then also Teddy Atlas talked about it. Teddy Atlas talked about it. He said there's no way in the world that the sanctioning body should have a conference and have referees there, have managers there, have promoters there, have people from the commission there. You got all these people together, right, who all can benefit from the win or loss of a fighter, and they're all there at a conference talking. And he's like, that's where the corruption happens. And I tend to believe that. Victor says Thurman fights every 2 years and come back to fight for a title, and it's a WBC. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think if Thurman does fight anyone, it may be Cody Crowley. Because Cody Crowley's mandatory to the WBC. Keith Thurman's mandatory too. But, Spence and Crawford, they're going to be tied up probably for 3 fights. So no one's going to be available to fight anyone prior to the end of 2024. Because if Spence and Crawford, they're fighting, July? Then again before the end of the year. Then they may fight again by the summer of next year. Then they're going to need time to rest. So, and if they stay at 147, then you got the end of next year, 2024. So if Thurman does come back, he's going to need to have some kind of fight. Not just this one in August. He's going to have to fight maybe 1 or 2 more times, maybe 3 fights, if he can win them all before he gets a shot at whoever has a WBC strap, and if they're still undisputed or if they don't vacate. So Keith Thurman and these other guys we want to see fighting Spence and Crawford, we probably won't see that till probably the end of 2024 if Spence and Crawford have a trilogy. Okay, and those are just facts. Those are just facts. You know what I'm saying? Miss B, what's going on, Miss B? She says Devin Haney ain't want no smoke from Dion Williams. Yeah, Devin Haney and his team, they're being very strategic now. And I'm going to tell you this. You know what I'm saying, Miss B? Yeah, Dion Williams at 140 destroys Dev. Yeah, Dion Williams can scrap. He can scrap. But I'm going to tell you this. Devin Haney's in high demand right now. You know, everybody wants to fight him. You know what I'm saying? He's got that undisputed distinction at 135, but even at 140, people want to get at him. They want to fight Devin Haney. You got promoters trying to bring him on to their stable. You got promoters trying to make fights between him and their fighters. So Devin Haney's in high demand. And Devin Haney's going to make a lot of money, especially if he can keep winning. And especially if he's going to sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to have my dad manage me, and we just take out one-fight deals and kind of do like Canelo, you know, until you get the deal you want. Guaranteed money, you know what I'm saying, over 3-4 fights. Devin Haney may lock himself into some kind of contract where he's getting a guaranteed $25 million a fight on a 3-4 fight deal. And then after that, go on to the next. So they're very particular with what they're doing with Devin Haney. But I do think it just seems like it's a matter of time before Devin Haney loses. But at the same time, he keeps elevating himself. And he keeps showing that there are levels to his game. And it's just hard for me to say he gets tranquilized by anyone. But you almost feel like it's just he's this one punch away from Devin Haney getting knocked out cold and getting tranquilized and losing viciously by KO. But he keeps finding a way to use those angles, circle his opponent, fight on the inside, evade punches, and win rounds. Okay, and that's what he does. He takes it round by round. So I don't know, but I do think that just looking at it on the surface, Deon Williams is a problem for anyone he gets in the ring with. Pyre says, at the end of the day, Crawford and Spence had never gotten in the ring with Keith Thurman. That's true. That's true. We got to be honest with what we're talking about when it comes to Keith Thurman, Crawford, Spence. Hey, look, I always said I feel like Crawford should have fought Thurman because Spence fought Danny Garcia and he fought Porter. So he had those two names on his record. Crawford only fought Porter. It would have been nice for him to have fought Thurman. And if he beat Thurman, then Crawford, as far as his resume, but then it'd be hard to me for people to keep saying Crawford fought nobody. Because even with the Sean Porter, when they say Porter was washed up, Porter didn't train properly, Porter was winning the fight. But if he could have came out and clipped Keith Thurman, he probably still would have got some flack for beating him. But I think he would have got more credit than flack for beating Keith Thurman. But nobody wanted to get in there. Well, Keith Thurman wanted a whole lot of money. And bottom line, the fights didn't happen, so that sucked for everyone. But you're right, no one's fought Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman is very vocal about that. And hopefully we'll see it happen sooner than later. But I'm not sure. But everyone's looking for the 4-for-1 deal. Everybody wants the 4-for-1 deal. What fighter can I fight in one fight and pick up 4 belts? And that's what they're looking at. Jamel Charlo, Tim Tszyu, he wants the 4-for-1 deal. Everyone at 135 looking at Devin Haney for the 4-for-1 deal. You know what I'm saying? And up there, depending on what the heavyweights do, Deontay Wilder, if Usyk can clip Fury or Fury clips Usyk, and Deontay Wilder and AJ get in the ring with the winner of that and fight the undisputed, they get the 4-for-1 deal. If Berta Biev and Bivol ever get a chance to fight each other and Mauricio the Nose Suleiman stops holding damn Bivol back and this whole thing about the Russians and the war in Ukraine and the Russians destroyed the infrastructure that the WBC was putting in place in Ukraine, the training facilities, so we lost a lot of money. Since they did that to us, we're going to be spiteful and we're going to sit here and hold that against Bivol. That's crazy. So if they ever get beyond that and let Bivol fight, but it's not Bivol's fault, the stuff that's going on between Russia and Ukraine, let him fight and go out there and unify the division, and then somebody's going to be looking for the become the undisputed in the division, and someone's going to be looking for the 4-for-1 deal at 175. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The villainous hero says his handlers ruined Loma by leaving him as an amateur too long and moving him up too heavy. Yeah, they kept him too long, man. You know, don't get me wrong, he did great things, but they kept him there way too long. He should have, by the time he turned pro, he should have already had like 30 fights. That's why when he turned pro, he just, like his second fight, he was fighting for a belt. Lost that one, went into his third fight fighting for a belt. So he was more than ready when he turned pro. He should have been pro probably, 8 years sooner. The villainous hero says, Loma looked like a pity pat amateur scorer versus Haney. That don't work against these young dogs. Yeah, he did look like he was having a coochie-coo contest in there, a tickling contest. And he did land some flashy shots that rocked Devin's head back, but it just wasn't enough. Miss B says, Pastor Keith Thurman beats both of them. I think it's an interesting fight, Miss B. She says Keith Thurman with ponytails was very, yeah. The ponytail gave him power, didn't it? Man cut the ponytail off, then had his stuff combed going back. Now he got a high and tight, like he just coming out of basic training. So we're going to see if the hair was the secret weapon or if the hair didn't matter. We're going to find out. He was a careful boxer. Keith Thurman was an amazing boxer puncher. Amazing. We talk about Keith Thurman getting hit to the body and getting hurt. Hey, look. Truth. He doesn't like body shots. But you know what else is the truth? He's never gone down. Keith Thurman is cut from that cloth. You know what I mean? So I think with his styles, like Miss B is saying, his work rate, his ability to fight off the ropes, that lateral movement, stop on a dime and fire. You know how hard it is to punch while you're moving? Usyk can do it. Keith Thurman, I think he can still do it, but he used to do it. And what's his name? Lomachenko can do it. And Bivol can do it. To punch while you're moving. Most that goes against everything that you learn in boxing. You got to set your feet, right? You got to, get your weight behind the punches. Get small. All this shit they teach you. And you got someone who, the special ones, while they're moving, they're able to punch. Caleb Plant can do it, but he can only do it for a certain period of time, and then he gets low energy. And then he loses the fight. You know what I'm saying? But absolutely, styles make fights. Thurman is an amazing fighter, and we just have to see, like the villainous hero says, if Thurman has enough left to get a couple more decent paydays. One thing we know about Keith Thurman, let me tell you something. Keith Thurman would have returned to fight a long time ago. He would have returned to fight a long time ago. But they just didn't have enough dates for a guy like Keith Thurman. Because Keith Thurman didn't want to come, was two things. One, he's a headliner. There's only so many dates in a year. PBC, Showtime, whatever. You know what I mean? They're not going and fighting top-ranked fighters and stuff like that. So whatever dates Showtime has, PBC has, that's it. But if you have your champions who are headlining, and you got a guy like Thurman who's like, hey, I want to fight. They're like, we'll put you as a co-main. Keith Thurman, hey look, ego, man. Ego prevents some of the biggest fights from happening. I just talked about this in another video. But his ego and his pride, nah, I'm a headliner. I don't do co-mains. I'm beyond that. Okay, but let's say he was like, all right, cool. I have no problem being a co-main. I have no problem being the guy who's going to prep the fans for the headliner. I don't have no problem coming on there, knocking someone out, getting everyone's juices flowing, and boom, the main event starts. But the problem is how much money these guys want. They're like, okay, he's willing to fight. Great. The next problem is the money. They can't pay him what he wants. You got to understand, these guys, that's why they need to go to Saudi Arabia. The money out there is where it's at. But at the end of the day, they can't pay him that money. So these guys, they don't fight. It's stupid to me. But that's what we're dealing with. Either they don't want to be a co-main because they really feel they're a headliner, or they're willing to do it, but they want the kind of headliner money. And it all backfires, okay? And you kind of see that with Jerron Boots Ennis. This man didn't want to be a co-main. He wants to headline. Jerron Boots Ennis, man, hey, I want to see how he looks in his next fight against Villa, which I think is a hard fight for him. But I'm going to tell you what. He should have fought as the co-main for Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. He had the opportunity to. He turned it down. And to me, that's just crazy. Because look at how many pay-per-views it said. Look how many eyes was on it. He could have came back, did the business, and Jerron Boots Ennis would have been right back in the mix as far as the conversations. I don't rate him like I used to. Because he won the fight, but it's just like he took a loss because his profile, his stock, everything plummeted. In a win, because we had such high expectations for him. So now they aren't as high for him. But it's just like, okay, well, let's just wait and see what he does next. I'm not saying he can't get back to where he was, but right now, Boots Ennis is in a holding pattern career-wise, at least with me, until he proves that he deserves to be in the same conversation. His name deserves to be in the same conversation with Spence, Thurman, and Crawford. Miss B says, Pacquiao fought Thurman from 2-year layoff with an injury. Absolutely. And Keith Thurman, some people say Keith Thurman won that fight. No doubt about that. And that first round, Pacquiao did catch him, but he did step on his foot too. But the second half of the fight, we know what happened. Keith Thurman was putting that heat on him. Ms. B says, don't sleep on Thurman. No, absolutely not. Nobody should be sleeping on Keith Thurman. No way. Thurman also respects, he don't buy expensive cars. Yeah, man, that has everything with your upbringing. You know what I mean? You're not going to see Keith Thurman pull up in no damn Rolls Royce truck, no Bentley. He's got a little BMW or something. What, you know, and I respect that. There's no need to be out here with a goddamn $350,000 earring. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to jump in anybody's pockets. They do what they want. Even me as a young guy, I guess because I got my lesson early in life. We talking boxing. I'm going to give you a short story on why Hood Champion never went out there and was reckless with money. I used to bag groceries when I was like 14, 15, right? And on a weekend, I would make like Saturday and Sunday, like $250. We were rich. At 14, you're making $250 a weekend, bagging groceries, me and my friends. And I used to order sneakers, clothes, sweatsuits off of East Bay. Y'all remember the East Bay magazine? You could call up, look at what you want, call. They used to do cash on delivery. I'd have all that cash from tips, right? They bring the box to my door. I give the man cash. I have my shoes. No kidding, man. All the way through high school, from 9th grade through 12th grade. I always kept like 100 and something pair of shoes. Every color. Yeah, I was up in Nordstrom's. I was up in the Gap. I was out there getting hoodies, polo down. Everything matched. Hat, earring, everything matched. Sneakers, socks, everything. But when my dad told me, he was like, yo, save that money and go to Trinidad, right? And stay out there for a year or two, chill with your grandma and your family out there, and go to school in the Caribbean, and then, you know, come on back. He's like, you're making all that money, but you're buying all this materialistic shit. How many pair of sneakers do you need? You know what I'm saying? You can only wear one at a time. But you couldn't tell me nothing. So anyway, I blew a lot of money as a young man, ended up joining the military, and I had learned my lesson because when I was forced to move, right? I had to move from where we were living. We moved to another state. And the movers were some young guys moving. They saw all that nice shit I had because, you know, I couldn't take it all with me, so most of it got packed up in boxes. They stole 80% of my shit. They stole 80% of my shit. And basically, they got it was a lot of money. So they robbed me. Long story short, I never forgot about that. And my dad just like, I told you, should have saved your money, gone to the Caribbean, but instead you want to buy this materialistic shit, and them guys stole it from you. And I never, ever let something like that happen again when it comes to money. And to this day, I still live like that. But I got that lesson young. Some of these guys don't get those lessons, man. So you're talking about Keith Thurman? Yeah, he's not going to go buy expensive cars and all that because he may have gotten those kind of lessons like me early. Or he just is a guy who's like, look, I like to see, you know, them digits in my account. I don't like to look out there and see digits in my driveway. I like to see it in my account. The Villainous Hero says Thurman is 34. They want to use him now as a gatekeeper to move up through. That's what I see. Yeah, he knows that. But I tell you what, Boots Ennis and Keith Thurman, I think they should make that fight. I think Boots Ennis and Keith Thurman should fight. That's the fight I want to see. If Boots Ennis can beat Roman Villa, and he can do it in devastating fashion, then come down Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? That's the fight to make. But will it happen because of Keith Thurman's pride? I don't know. But if Keith Thurman's trying to get to Spence, or he's trying to get to Crawford, he's trying to get the 4-for-1 deal, if Keith Thurman comes back, right, and Keith Thurman, if he can tranquilize Boots Ennis, let me tell y'all right now, no one's going to remember the body shot by Collazo. No one's going to remember the body shot by Josecito. No one's going to remember that body shot by Mario Barrios. And sure as hell, nobody's going to remember what the hell Pacquiao did by tranquilizing him in that first round. I'm telling you that right now. If Keith Thurman comes back and he can come out here and tranquilize Boots Ennis, and I'm not holding my horses because I'm not taking it to the stupid. If he can do that, Keith Thurman is out of here. But we got to wait and see. Because I'm telling you, man, that pride will kill you. But I think if he has the right team around him, they'll say, look, there's an opportunity here. Look at this big picture-wise. You just have to knock this guy off who's the guy in position to fight. He gets first dibs before anybody to fight Spence and Crawford after they finish however many fights they're going to have. You knock him off, you the man. And then plus they could justify it because he's the mandatory and no one beat him for that WBC belt. He gave it up. So Keith Thurman would leapfrog everybody. And then we hopefully get the fight between him and whoever the winner is. But I doubt they're going to hang around. I think they'll drop the belts after the third fight. And then Keith Thurman probably be fighting for a vacant title. But I know he's looking for the 4-for-1 deal. I know that for a fact. The Villainous Hero says, Mauricio done created 50 damn belts. Yeah, he got a lot of belts, and that damn bridgeweight, the bridgeweight division is not really a bad thing. You know, I was thinking about it, but I just, it's a money grab. But the guys at bridgeweight, my understanding is they can still compete at heavyweight. But that's just more money for them. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it would be interesting because you got damn, what's his name? Deontay Wilder and Usyk. They could be the bridgeweight champion and the damn heavyweight champion because they both fluctuate between damn 210 to like 230. So, I mean, 224 it's up to 200, 224 pounds is the bridgeweight division. Deontay Wilder is right there. Usyk is right there. So, they both could be champions in both divisions. But the thing about it is you got to pay them sanctioning fees. But it's only the WBC. If they can get the other sanctioned bodies to come on board, may have something. And I think because people are just resistant to change, I think with time, you may see this take off. And you get some of these smaller heavyweights trying to be, you know, hey, become the bridgeweight champion. Villainous Hero says, everybody wants Haney because he is viewed as an easy mark to get 4 belts. Of course, Haney is the 4-for-1 deal. That's what they want, man. But Haney, Cornelius Jenkins says Haney's power will come at 140. I'm gonna tell you right now, CJ, you just don't know. He may go up to 140, and he may have that power. I'm gonna tell you that. You're absolutely right about that. It's the same thing, man. When I used to cut weight for fights, I used to lift a lot of weights too. But for fights, I used to cut out the weights, and I used to, you know, drop from like 205 to 160, right? But let me tell you something. When I get down to 160, it was no getting under 350 pounds, 360 pounds. You know, 275 used to be a little bit of struggle because I was cutting that weight and cutting back on my carbs and how much I was eating. That makes a difference in your power, man. But as soon as I have my fight, because I used to struggle with that. I used to like having my little, you know, traps and shoulders and looking nice in my shirts. So in between fights, I go back to hit in the gym lifting weights. And man, once that weight come back on, you know, man, in there pushing serious weight. But you're right. When you put on weight, you're right. You do get stronger. That's not something we're making up. Like, that is a fact, man. That is a fact. We know carbs are energy. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. So Henry's power, he could show that he has some KO power at 140. It could show up. Those pillows on the fist may turn into bricks. But we have to wait and see. The Villainous Hero says, when Henry stepped up and dug deep versus Loma and didn't jab and hold for 12 rounds and showed other skills and dimensions, I was shocked and proud. Yeah, Haney surprised me. But I do think they knew that they could probably get away with that because Lomachenko is so much smaller than Devin Haney. I mean, I was just waiting for Devin Haney to say, you want your cornbread? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how big he looked to Lomachenko. Like, he went full movie life in there, didn't he? He looked like a monster. He looked Green Mile in there compared to Lomachenko. The Villainous Hero says, with Boots, everybody has tough nights. I expect him to look good when he gets back in there. Hey, you know what, man? We just have to wait and see. I still think Boots is a great fighter, don't get me wrong. But he passed the eye test, but when he got in that ring, he didn't pass the test. You know what I'm saying? Look, what's going to happen when someone fights him back? You know what I mean? What's going to happen? He got the guy from Canada who came down, Custall Clayton, whatever his name is. He just quit. Don't get me wrong. Boots Ennis can crack. Villa, even, Chikadzian said that. He said, yo, I knew if I stood in front of him, I can get knocked out. That's why he was in there, man, you know, hauling ass around the ring. You know what I mean? He went straight Carl Lewis. He was Usain Bolton around the ring because he said he hit that hard. But Chikadzian was stopped on occasion. He's another one who can fight while running. And he would fire them damn shots and was snapping Boots' head back. And Boots got reckless and was swinging wildly and hitting air and just losing balance and shit. So let's see if he showed that growth and he's going to be able to show that, hey, he's got that championship level cloth to him. And I'm going to give him an opportunity, man. I haven't gave up on him. I just got to call it like I see it. You know what I'm saying? For real. The Villainous Hero says, even Floyd has some tough nights and ugly fights for criticism, but if you just keep on winning. Well, you know, I agree with you to a certain extent, but Floyd Mayweather, look, I've watched every Floyd Mayweather fight. And when I was stationed in Korea from 2008 to 2010, for those 2 years straight, all I did was order boxing DVDs, the whole career of fighters. And I watched several, but Floyd Mayweather was one I watched all of his amateur fights and all of his professional fights. Let me tell you something. Floyd Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, Zab Judah, Miguel Cotto. When you watch those guys in their first 20 fights, you see something that's beyond comprehension. What they were able to do in that ring, where you knew these guys are going to go far. It's just amazing to see what they were able to do. With Boots Ennis, I haven't seen that. But what I'm getting at with Floyd Mayweather, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of hard for me to say, you know, Floyd had tough nights and ugly fights for criticism. You know, I don't think I've seen Floyd have any tough nights. You know what I'm saying? I understand the whole Castillo thing. I understand Emmanuel Augustus. I know he had a couple crazy moments with Shane Mosley. I understand Maidana in that second fight. That first fight was just a dirty fight, but you know, hey, you're not in there to tickle each other. In the second fight, you know, Floyd got tranquilized and the bell saved him. And when he fought, what's his name, Chop Corley, Floyd got tranquilized, but he had his wits about him and was able to survive. But other than that, Floyd Mayweather, man, he in a category of his own when it comes to me. The Villainous Hero said he had Jordans along the wall, FUBU, earrings, everything. Now I'm frugal as hell. Yeah, man, we learn our lesson, man, you know. It's good. We learn our lesson. And, you know, you go broke saving money. You know, if everything is a great deal, say, oh, this is cheap, and you just spend it at the end of the day. You save so much money that you have no money left because you had all these great deals. You spent all your money on great deals. Now you have nothing. So I learned, hey, man, I'm glad you learned that lesson early too, man. It doesn't make sense. Miss B says, them Jordans hella expensive. I had the Shaq and FUBU shoes. Hey, not the Shaq shoes. Let me tell you something. I had Diodora, I had Reeboks, I had the Tonics, I had Asics, New Balance boots, Nike boots. I had Timberlands, man. But what else I had? I had all colors, man. I had Lottos, and I had a whole bunch. I had several pair of Jordans, but all colors, man. All them New Balance boots, Nike boots, all that shit. Everything matching and much. All champion hoodies, champion everything. But that's back in the day, man. That's hilarious. She said the Shaq shoes. Oh man, hold on now. You almost made me start laughing in here. I almost broke character for a minute, you know. But the Villainous Hero says Boots versus Thurman is a good, necessary fight idea, but is Bud and Spence gonna move up soon? A lot of question marks. Boots is larger than both of them, it seems. Yeah, Boots got to be like 6'1". I don't care to say 5'11". Man, Boots is about 6'1". And he's got the frame, so I'm sure if he wanted to, he could easily bubble up to 154. He looked like he about Jamel Charlos size. Villainous Hero, I like bridge weight. How can a 210 fight 270 Fury? Hey man, David versus Goliath. You know what I'm saying? But remember they used to have super heavyweight. Then they got rid of that. You know, now it's just heavyweight. But this whole bridge weight thing, I think is a good idea. I think so. But we just got to see if the other sanction bodies come on board. But, you know, we just have to wait and see. Miss B says, after heavyweight, it's good old hamburger weight. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's you're going to eat that cornbread weight. You know what I'm saying? The Villainous Hero said, I always thought heavyweight was too wide. 200 to infinity, never liked it even as a kid. Yeah, that's why Nikolai Valuev was able to come and pick up a title because the man was a 7-foot giant. You know, you how can you even punch him? David Haye was able to, you know, strike Goliath with the stone and shit. But I mean, other than that, you know, Vander Holyfield gave him a little bit of the business, but they're just too damn big, man. Miss B says, what exercise is best to make strong forearms? You know, you could they got those them little things you squeeze like this, but also You take a barbell or dumbbell and do up like this, or you can do it this way. You know what I'm saying? That can work your forearms, man. That can make your forearms very strong. And this whole thing right here, this whole thing will grow. You will see it grow. Miss B says, he looked like a monster from Loma Nightmare. Yeah, no doubt. Miss B says, Devin the Nightmare Haney. Hell yeah. Miss B says, dreams turn into nightmares. Hell yeah. The dream is gone. The nightmare showed up. Miss B says, Shakir is my favorite fighter right now. I like how the brother fight. Yeah, Shakir is disciplined. He's special. And I think he's going to continue to make some noise. The Villainous Hero says, Floyd Dahl walked a lot of great fighters, all 12 rounds won. Barely touched in 20 years and 50 fights, I agree. But hand issues, dirty opponents, etc., he persevered and always won. That's true. Pennant says, what if Canada, Mexico, United States become one country? Would anyone like that? I don't know, man. That's a good question, man. We can't get political talking about that. Villainous Hero says, in fairness, never watched Boots' last fight. I'm going to watch it tonight. He must have looked bad. Yeah, watch the fight. You'll see. But when it comes to Adrian Broner, you can see him. If Teofimo wins, who do you have winning? Adrian Broner fights Teofimo. I think he beats him. Him fighting Devin Haney at 135. We just have to wait and see if he has the discipline to stay in fighting shape to get down to 135. And I think it's a great fight, 4-for-1 deal. Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. I don't know, but if it's all on Adrian Broner. But I wouldn't come in and expect for him to just lose to those guys. I think it's highly competitive. Now, when we're talking about Ryan Garcia, he wanted to be independent. Ryan Garcia wanted to be independent. That's why he left Eddie Reynoso and he left Canelo's camp. He felt like he needed to have his own gym because Ryan Garcia, he is a star, but he's not Canelo. And Ryan Garcia, he felt like he was as big or bigger than Canelo. But I tell you what, that bubble, he went over to Joe Goosen, his bubble got popped. Ryan Garcia is super humble now, isn't he? He was out here, Ryan Garcia was out here trying to come back over to Eddie Reynoso, and they would have welcomed him. But I think he kind of knew, you know what? Bridges were burnt. Obviously, something bad happened, or he wasn't happy. Why go back into an unhappy situation again? So now he's over there. Villainous, what time are you going live tomorrow? Villainous Hero, it's tough for me to go live, man. I got 4 sons, and they're summertime. We in basketball camps, soccer camps. They go into the boxing gym. But tomorrow, maybe around this time tomorrow, man, maybe like 9 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I'll go live, maybe. But with Ryan Garcia, now he's over there with Derek James. So we got to see just what Derek James can do for him. But with Ryan Garcia, this may be a good opportunity for a guy like Adrian Broner or Rolly Romero to catch him in transition between trainers. Because when you see guys who are in transition between trainers, sometimes they get in the ring and what they want to do instinctively, they're second guessing themselves because now they're trying to do what the trainers taught them. And that's where that split second of indecisiveness can cause them to fight. So I think they need to be careful with Ryan's next fight. I don't think they should put him in there with Romero, and they definitely shouldn't put him in there with what's his name? With Adrian Broner. Do the same thing with Anthony Joshua. Feed him a Jermaine Franklin. Go out there, see how if it's meshing, trainer and student, if it's meshing. Now they're feeding Anthony Joshua a Dillian White. Should be able to go out there and show a more impressive display of the skills he's picked up since being under the tutelage of Derek James. Same thing with Ryan Garcia. He's with Derek James. Don't put him in there with Rolly Romero. Don't put him in there with AB. Feed him Pedraza, who's a good fighter, but give him something like that. Let him cut his teeth on 140. And then give him another fight with somebody, that's not a Regis Prograis or a Rolly Romero or an Adrian Broner. Let him cut his teeth on that. And if he's looking promising, then he's ready. But that's my concern about Ryan Garcia. Now, we talked about a whole lot, man. The Villainous Here says, why did they feed Ryan to Tank like that? Because Ryan Garcia demanded it. He demanded it. And I think they just got tired of hearing him talk about it. And I think it boils down to money, too. I think De La Hoya, I don't care what he said and B-Hop said. I don't care what they say. They could have stopped that fight. Because if you listen to De La Hoya, we didn't want you to take the fight. No bullcrap, because De La Hoya was on the phone pushing for the fight, and he was the one saying, look, I made the deal. It was because of me that the fight happened. Now you come back and say, we didn't want you to take the fight. So De La Hoya, contradiction after contradiction. Leonard Ellaby even threatened to show receipts when De La Hoya was out here saying how he didn't want Ryan Garcia to take the fight. Look, they wanted him to take the fight. And if Ryan Garcia would have won, De La Hoya, his whole tune would change, you know? And those are just facts, all right? But I think it just really boiled down to money, man. It's a money game. Y'all know how it is. It's a business. And there was a lot of money made, and if for Ryan Garcia, whoever he fights next, I'll say this. You take Ryan Garcia and you take Tank Davis. Put Ryan Garcia in there to fight somebody next, and whoever Tank's going to fight. Doesn't matter who it is. I think Ryan Garcia's pay-per-view numbers will be better than Tank's. I don't mind being wrong. We're just having a conversation. I think his pay-per-view numbers will be better than Tank's. I'll just be honest with you. But we got to wait and see. I understand the live gate. I understand Tank consistently doing over a couple 100,000. I get that. But let's just wait and see. I'm pretty sure Oscar knew Ryan would lose. What's up, Alex, man? I'm glad you were able to finally catch a live. I've been busy. I apologize. Thank you for the donation. You know, I genuinely appreciate that. You know how I get down, man. Anyone who ever gives me a donation, man, because it just means a lot to me. Thank you so much. He says, I'm pretty sure Oscar knew Ryan would lose. Hell yeah, he knew he would lose, man. The villainous here says Ryan is such an Instagram model, but he can still sell. In the rehydration clause, they said he forced Golden Boy's hand. Yeah, that's all crap. You know what I'm saying? That's all crap. You know what I mean? They knew he would lose. They just want the money. And I really feel Golden Boy, but wasn't the Golden Boy, he's Golden Boy's best prospect. I think it's just Oscar's looking to cash out. But no, I don't think Ryan Garcia is the best prospect. I think Virgil Ortiz is the best prospect. I think Ryan Garcia, he's probably the most marketable one. But as far as the guy who can really go on and pick up titles and have the most accomplishments in boxing, I think that's Virgil Ortiz. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's Virgil Ortiz. I don't think it's Ryan Garcia. But Ryan Garcia he's a superstar. But he can fight. But he can't fight like Virgil Ortiz. And Ryan Garcia got exposed with just, you know, basically having the left hand, which is what we knew. But I think they're going to work on that right hand over there with Derek James. But Ryan Garcia, I would say he was the flagship fighter, yes. But as far as prospect and the guy who can go on to really make some noise, I think it's Virgil Ortiz. But he keeps having these issues with rhabdomyolysis, you know what I mean? And Virgil Ortiz, his boxing career may come to an end very soon. Very, very soon. But we just got to wait and see. Adari Pennant, I see you got a question mark there. Is something wrong with the live? Or did you have a question about something I was saying? Let me know. If you can't hear me, let me know, because I'm not used to seeing you post question marks, man. So let me know if you can or cannot hear me. Hold on a second. Let me see something. I need to know if you can hear me. Yeah, let me know if you can or can't hear me, man. Okay, yeah, it's still working. He says he will still sell because of his social media following and casual fans. Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Ryan Garcia is gonna keep selling. He's gonna keep selling. But for Ryan Garcia, oh, you're on the phone, okay. But for Ryan Garcia, we just gotta wait and see what he does over there with Derek James. Now with the Charlos, right? Jamel and Jamal Charlo. Look, it's kind of unfortunate because Jamel Charlo should be fighting the end of this year. You know, him and Tim Tszyu supposed to be getting it on. But let me tell you something. Jamel Charlo not fighting now, I think it has a lot more to do with what his brother Jamal is going through than him and the hand injury and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I really think that twin energy is what has both of them out the ring. Because Jamel has always said that the wife of Jamal Charlo wasn't a good woman, wasn't a good person. He's always said that. And now you're kind of seeing that obviously there was something that was going on in the house for Jamal Charlo to win custody of his kids. That's huge. He won custody of the kids. So that being said, I think that he's on the path to rebuilding. But this, again, we're talking boxing, right? They're personalized, but what I will say is, man, they got to be 100% because to come back and fight a guy like Tim Tszyu is hungry. I think Jermell Charlo tranquilizes Tim Tszyu. But when you get a guy that's hungry like that, man, sometimes that can make the difference in the fight. But what I will say is this. Jermell Charlo he's not Tony Harrison. And he's not going to end up in a damn matchbox to fight Tim Tszyu. I think Tony Harrison agreed to basically just go sell his soul because Tony Harrison had a fight coming up where he wasn't going to make much money at all. Then he goes over there and he makes damn near $2 million, basically selling his soul. What he did was kind of like Charles Martin when he went over there to fight Anthony Joshua. He basically sold his title. Do y'all realize Charles Martin made like $8 or $9 million to go fight Anthony Joshua? And in the first round, he got tranquilized. So he sold that title. The man made like $8 or $9 million. Did y'all know that? Same thing with Tony Harrison. He didn't make that kind of money. But there's no way in the world Tony Harrison could have gone to make $2 million. No way. No one's going to pay him that kind of money. Not even champions are getting that kind of money. But he went over there and made like $2 million. Tim Tszyu made like $7 million. Bottom line is, this is an opportunity for someone to really step up, fight Jermell, and get the 4-for-1 deal. And I'm not wishing bad on him. What I'm saying is, I hope he has his stuff together, and I hope his brother can start to rebuild because, man, that twin energy is something else. You look at Jermell Charlo and what he's been able to do. He's not a manufactured champion. I don't care what anyone says. Harrison did beat him in the first fight. I don't think so. Harrison was winning the second fight. I don't know. He got tranquilized. He lost. What are we talking about here? Castaño beat him the first fight. It was a close fight. It could have gone either way. Agreed. Second fight, what happened? He got tranquilized. So Jermell Charlo, he did the business. He's the truth. We can't knock him. But right now, he don't seem to be there 100% mentally. And if he's going to get in the ring and there's mental lapses fighting someone aggressive and vicious like Tim Tszyu, that could be a problem. Okay? So Adari Pennant says, can you make a heavyweight fight like a welterweight? What's the name? Chris Bird used to fight like that. You know what I'm saying? Chris Bird used to fight like that. But, he came from a smaller weight class. But it just, just got to have that fighter who's extremely athletic, man. I mean, some people say Muhammad Ali fought like that. You know what I mean? The young Cassius Clay, those fast hands, those feet, the footwork, everything. But he was a heavyweight, big boy. The Villainous Hero says, marketability is what I meant. Ortiz can actually fight. But I still hear Garcia fans who don't know nothing about boxing having his back. Yeah, a lot of people, man, these guys have, let me tell you, these boxing fans, they're like Bloods and Crips. If you're on the wrong side of the street, you're wearing the wrong color, don't be wearing no Spence shirt when a damn Crawford fan walks by. Don't be wearing a Crawford shirt when a Spence fan walks by. Don't wear a Ryan Garcia shirt if a Rolly Romero fan comes by. Don't wear a Rolly shirt if a Ryan Garcia fan comes by. They will kill you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, some of these fans, they don't listen. If they're not hearing what they want to hear, as far as you're concerned, what are some of the things people have told me? You're dumb. You don't know anything. Man, get your old ass out of here. I'm sitting there, man. Some of them comments I laugh at. But some of those crazy ones, I got to block people because I just don't want people coming on my channel and reading a bunch of ridiculous stuff. Like, I'm not about that. You know what I mean? But fans are fans. Some fans are loyal, and it gets ugly. You see in some of these fights, in the crowd, you got fan for one fighter against a fan from the other fighter fighting each other. Big ass brouhahas breaking out in the crowd. So the fans' loyalty, yeah, you got to expect that with these boxers fans. As far as they're concerned, Ryan Garcia can do no wrong. But anybody who's a fan of some of these boxers, they'll never admit the shortcomings of the fighter. They're going to always find ways to alibi about why the fighter didn't do something. The Villainous Hero, how can Ortiz get a belt at 147 against those beasts? You talking about Virgil Ortiz? Let me tell you something. Virgil Ortiz, he's cut from a different cloth too, man. You just have to see him fight. I always knew Virgil Ortiz can fight. But when he fought Mean Machine, I was like, this man is special. Maurice Hooker fight was a tough fight, but you can just see Virgil Ortiz, you got to kill him. Virgil Ortiz is really like a Maidana. Like, he's going to fight you. He's going to fight you. Like, you gotta kill Virgil Ortiz. So for him to get in there with like a Spence or a Crawford, be a very interesting fight. I think it'd be very competitive. And that's why everybody should tune in to watch Virgil Ortiz and Stan Eunice fight. Because I'm telling you, that is going to be a mash-up, crash-up. For anyone out here, if you watch boxing, but you don't know much about Stan Eunice, you don't know much about Virgil Ortiz, but you've heard their names, let me tell you, don't miss that fight. They're not going to be in there tickling each other. There's not going to be anyone jabbing, catching, shooting, swivel jabbing, rolling out from the punch. They're not doing that. Those guys are coming in there, seek and destroy. You know what I'm saying? That's the mission they're on. And I'm telling you, someone's going to get hurt. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm just telling you, someone's going to get hurt in that fight. And I'm going to be right there watching it. Luna says, Tio lost his mind. Man is all over the place. Josh might knock him out. And man, we got, most of us have Josh Taylor tranquilizing Teofimo Lopez, man. So Luna, no doubt about that. I think Josh Taylor is going to beat him. I think he's going to knock him out too. And I'll say this. I kind of feel a little bad for Teofimo because the man already talking about death. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if he comes out here now and he ends up, face down, ass up in the ring. And social media, well, they don't hold back, do they? He's going to be a meme. He's going to be a soundbite. And he's gonna really need to have people who really care about him close to him, because he's gonna be in bad shape if he loses, especially by knockout. He's gonna be in bad shape, because where does he go from here? This is the thing about Teofimo. We know he's got some stuff going on upstairs. He's some mental issues and personal issues. He's struggling, right, mentally. We know that. But check this out. If he loses and he's no longer with Top Rank, right? The contract, whatever the obligations are, has been met. Check this out. No, I'm the only one talking about this. Where does Teofimo go now? Remember, Teofimo, he was a hot commodity. The little funny Fortnite dances, the Heisman Trophy weekend and all that, undefeated, knocking people out, man winning championships, unified, right? He could have gone anywhere and got top dollar. If Teofimo loses now, and he's no longer with Top Rank, where does he go? Who's going to watch Teofimo Lopez? He doesn't have any titles. He's looked horrible at 140. And if he gets knocked out by Josh Taylor, what does he do? I'll tell you where he goes. He goes over to the Don King. And he's going to be Teofimo Lopez and Adrian Broner signed to Don King Promotions. Because nobody's going to want to mess with Teofimo. He's out here talking about racial stuff, killing people, dying in the ring, the Bible, you know what I mean? He's all over the place. Nobody gonna want him. You know what I'm saying? He brings nothing to the table. He can't go back to 135 because it's hard for him to make the weight. So what I'm getting at with Teofimo Lopez, if he loses to Josh Taylor, his issues are only going to be exacerbated, and I think it's going to be way beyond the point of being fixed. I think he's going to need some serious time away from the sport, because how do you recover? And the thing is, if he doesn't get help and somehow stay in the gym and just to confront whatever it is that's plaguing him, man, when he gets down into that emotional trough, it's hard to climb out of that. That downward spiral is vicious, man. But he's going to need the right people around him. But, hey, that ain't my problem. I don't wish bad on him. But I just got to be real when it comes to boxing. I just don't think he beats Josh Taylor. But, hey, the best fighter doesn't win. It's the fighter who boxes the best on that night. And Teofimo may, have a little bit of that sunshine and that jaw that he can pull out, man, and show the world that, hey, it's still the takeover. I'm still that guy from 2018, and I'm here to get busy. But we just have to see. And that's what makes the fight so interesting. It's going to be a good fight. Right here, the villainous hero says, are the Charlos the most duck fighters ever? It's not right that nobody will fight him. they still beat Nash. The Big Twin is an animal. The Big Twin is an animal, man. But that time off, man, you know, that time off. But you know what? Maybe Big Charlo could have fought more than what he was fighting before. Could you check this out, right? Could you imagine what he was going through when he was as active as he was? If in fact that the woman he was married to was giving him horrors, was being unfair to the children, the amount of stress he had being away at camp. Could you imagine what he had to push through just to make sure he was 100% going into a fight? That's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But that being said, I think right now, again, where there were some people who may have been ducking him and avoiding those guys because they know both of those guys come to fight, this may be the opportunity of a lifetime for fighters who want to win a title at 154, in particular the 4-for-1 deal with Jamel, and pick up a strap off of Charlo at Charlo at 160. This may be the window of opportunity because obviously both of those guys are going through it. And if they catch them where they're not really there 100% mentally, that's going to affect the training camp, and they may get in the ring and it'd be like, what's his name? Daniel Jacobs, when he fought, was it Pirov or whatever his name was? He had just lost his, I think it was his grandmother, and he got in the ring, and, you know, hey, he got tranquilized first round, I think it was. Don't get me wrong, the guy he was fighting could fight, but Daniel Jacobs just wasn't there mentally. It's almost like he was okay with that loss because he knew he had to fight, but he wasn't done grieving. And he got in the ring, and bad things happen. And you could see that happen. You could see that happen with Jamel and Jamal. I'm not wishing that on him. We're just having a conversation. That's real talk, man. You know, that's like you having to... I would tell you for me, man, when I lost my dad, that's like me driving from work. And I'm driving home. While I'm at work and things are going, my mind's busy. I'm cool, but there were moments where my mind would just go. And then driving home, shit, man, those thoughts come to you. And, you know, that emotion hits you. It's rough. So I can only imagine what they're going through, trying to train in boxing. Come on, man. That's rough, man. The hero says, bro, Jamel could be the pound-for-pound king. Am I crazy for thinking that? And Jamal might be better than him. Yeah, Jamel deserves more credit on those pound-for-pound lists. I don't know why some of those lists don't put him on there. It's just like Devin Haney. They don't put Devin Haney on there. I mean, some people feel Devin Haney's not the best at 135. That's why they don't put him on. But look, he's the man. He's got the belts, man. They can't. But I guess they can do what they want. But I don't think that's fair. I think Haney and Jamel both should be on those pound-for-pound lists. I'm not saying they should be number one, but they deserve to be on there. They put the work in, especially Jamel. He didn't get a 4-for-1 deal. But at the end of the day, it's not Haney's fault that he got the 4-for-1 deal. Gotta go, man. Let's get more live, sir. Yes, sir, Luna. I will do better. I apologize, man. But if I get on, it's going to be between 9 and 10 o'clock at night. I'm in Texas, so let's make sure you're on my schedule, man. But thanks for the contributions, man. You know I appreciate it. Keep safe. Eat something good. I'll talk to you next on the next live. The Villainous Heel says, hey, tell me this. In case I missed it, what's your pick for Spence versus Crawford? Because I'm scared to pick one. I can't pull the trigger on a bet or a pick. I'm going to tell you, that's a 50-50 fight. Crawford and Spence are the two best 147-pounders fighting for undisputed distinction. I think they're both number ones, and whoever wins become undisputed. The loser remains number one. That being said, who do I pick? Man, I don't know. Early in the fight, I think Crawford has an opportunity with his counterpunching, because he fights with his eyes. And I think he has opportunities because Spence throws a lot of shots. And when you let your hands go like that, you're vulnerable. And I think Crawford is going to recognize that, and he's going to look to exploit Spence's offense, not his poor defense, because Spence is very defensively responsible. But the problem is now, Spence could catch Crawford because Evanesyan caught Crawford switching. And Evanesyan hit Crawford with a couple of shots that Crawford should have never got hit with. But some people say Crawford was just having a sparring session with Evanesyan, having fun, and he got tired of basically sparring with him. He tranquilized him and put him out of his misery. But that being said, if the fight doesn't end if it ends early, I think Crawford is the guy who gets the victory. But after round 4 or 5, I just think it's all downhill for Terrence Crawford if he can't put a dent in Errol Spence, because Errol Spence just picks up the pace round after round after round. Now, we keep talking about, well, who's the bigger man, who's the smaller man? Let's understand this. Terrence Crawford, 135-pounder, okay? 140, 147. He is just a guy who is able to freakishly melt down to 135, okay? And he's super strong. So Crawford has matured into the 147-pound division, and everyone he fought at 147, he knocked out. Don't get me wrong, he didn't fight Spence, didn't fight Thurman, but everyone he fought, he stopped. But what I will say is this. We're going to see, because Porter was having a lot of success against Terrence Crawford. I just watched the fight, and I was like, damn, Porter's having a lot of success. But Porter was looking a little reckless at times too, but he was still having a lot of success. Some people felt going into that 10th, 11th round, whatever round it was where he got stopped, that Porter was winning the fight. I'm going to tell you this. If Crawford, who does have a tendency to throw wide shots, if he can't catch Earl cleanly to buzz him or to blunt that aggressive offense, Bud's going to have a tough time. But I say the first 4 to 5 rounds, I'm leaning towards Crawford. After that, I think it goes Spence's direction. But don't get me wrong. You're talking about now power, which they both have it, but who's stronger? It just depends, man. But some people say Spence is stronger. Who has faster hands? Some people say Crawford has faster hands. Who has the better ring IQ? Some people say Crawford, you know. But I think early in the fight, I got to favor Crawford. As the fight goes on, I got to favor Spence. You know, I'm being honest with you. I just got to favor Spence, man, if it goes on. But I think it's a 50-50 fight. It's hard for me to pick somebody. But I think early in the fight, I favor Crawford. Down the stretch, I favor Spence. But I will say this. I've always said this. I think Crawford is chinny, and I think Spence is chinny. That's what makes the fight even more interesting to me. I've always said, and I'm going to keep saying, I think they're both chinny. Shit, you may see Spence touch Crawford, because remember, Gamboa cut Crawford. But this is the thing about when Gamboa cut Crawford, because everyone keeps talking about that. Oh, Gamboa, he caught Crawford. If little Gamboa hurt Crawford, Spence will tranquilize him. Let me tell you this, right? If Spence catches Crawford and he hurts him, no doubt about that. It can happen, right? But what I recognize when Terrence Crawford fought Gamboa, this is what makes Terrence Crawford a deadly fighter. When Gamboa hit him, right? Because Crawford was in the, I think he was southpaw at the time. When Gamboa caught Crawford, he was fighting as a southpaw. Boom! The big right hand hit Crawford because he was at a southpaw. So that's where the right hand can land on a southpaw. He got hit and he was out on his feet. Crawford knew to come out of that southpaw stance, to go orthodox, to take the right hand away from Gamboa. So when Gamboa was throwing that right hand, Crawford was able to get out the way of it because he was orthodox now and catch him with the hook uppercut, and that's what he did that same round, and he stopped him. So what that tells me is that Crawford has an amazing IQ to get hit and hurt, but recognize that, damn, he caught me with that right hand in the southpaw stance. Although I'm hurt, let me change the orthodox now where I take the right hand away from him because Gamboa went right hand crazy. Take the right hand away from him, and now I can make him miss because I know he's going to throw it. And when he did, I got out the way from it, threw that left hook on the top, and came with the uppercut, and the fight was over. When you have that kind of IQ, let me tell you, to be able to think when you're hurt and then to come back now and stop the opponent, not many fighters can think like that. And that just shows you that Crawford has an amazing, brilliant IQ. I'm not saying Spence isn't good, but for me, that makes all the difference in the world. Absolutely amazing that Crawford was able to do that. Right here he says, let me see, because I'm scared. Okay. The hero says, Ortiz swings with bad intentions. He may be the best Latin fighter right now. I like him too, bro. hey man, hey, he can fight. Just all the issues with rhabdomyolysis and health scares. I'm not sure how much longer he can fight because he can die from that. And people say Blair Cobb says that hey, he's on steroids. Other people say he just trains too hard. I'll be honest, I never heard of this rhabdomyolysis stuff until Virgil Ortiz started suffering from it. I did some research, and that is something that does happen for a lot of people who overtrain. They start having kidney issues, and they have to go into dialysis, and some people do die from that. So yeah, it's crazy. The Villainous Hero says, when Tio said that crap about black fighters, he should get in there with an elite black fighter and win. You know, he's just frustrated. He's not getting the airtime that he wants. He's not getting the praise he wants. And look, he's got to win, man, and he's got to knock people out. I mean, shit, look how Top Rank look how they handle Berlanga. They have Berlanga. He was the next best thing. All those knockouts, all of a sudden he gets dropped. He bites somebody. He's not knocking people out. And look, they got rid of him. You know what I'm saying? They got rid of him. I don't care what you say. They're like, hey, you got to do things our way now. He didn't want to. Boom, he bounces over there on Matchroom. And, you know, he's hoping for a fight with Canelo. But Top Rank they're not in the business to lose money. And they're not going to put a lot of money behind Teal unless he starts winning big fights and by KO. And that's what he has to do. It's all on Teofimo, man. But when it comes to Ortiz, yeah, we got to see how his health's going to hold up. We got to see how his health's going to hold up. And Teofimo Lopez, man, like I said, he's just in the breeze right now. He's got to get it together. Teo got beat by Kambosos, and Kambosos got walked by an underskilled Haney. Yeah, Teo went in there just thinking he could just muscle Kambosos, and the Australian had other plans, and we saw what happened. The Villainous Hero says, beat an elite black fighter and then run your mouth. Teo, he played himself that time. Yeah, he shouldn't have said, he was emotional. He shouldn't have said all that. He said, Charlos are getting up there in years. They better strike now. I got to go, bro. Peace. All right, take care, man. Take care. He said, Spence sometimes fights better after he gets hit hard. That's true. He gets the wake-up call. So I appreciate you joining the chat, Villainous Hero. But when it comes to the heavyweights now, we got a whole cluster going on in the heavyweight division. First and foremost, y'all know Jarrell Miller is fighting on the Floyd Mayweather undercard. Let me tell you something. Whether you agree with Jarrell Miller, Big Baby Miller or not, let me tell y'all something. Jarrell Big Baby Miller is on his way back to a big fight. I'm telling you, you're going to see Jarrell Big Baby Miller back mixing it up in the heavyweight division after this fight being on Floyd Mayweather's undercard. You better believe it. You better believe he is going to be back there, and some people are unhappy about it. But I think, texting my son real quick. I think it's good for Jarrell Miller. He knows he messed up. All those failed drug tests. He knows he messed up. But the bottom line is he's back, and you could see him mixing it up very soon with a Fury, with the Joshua, with the Wilder, or with the Usyk. But he's going to have to probably cut his teeth on a Hrgovic, on a Zhang, on a Dubois, on a Joe Joyce. But Jarrell Miller is inching his way back. But when it comes to those big four, look, there's supposed to be a huge fight taking place, man. Okay. There's supposed to be a huge fight taking place end of this year with all the heavyweights. But right now, AJ and Wilder, they firmed up their deal. Money and everything's locked down. Everything's going the way the Saudis want it. Usyk and Fury, let me tell you, that fight may not happen. Usyk and Fury may not happen. What Usyk and his team are doing, because you know Usyk is signed to the Saudis now. Villainous Hero says, good diagnosis of Bud Gamboa. I'm pulling up. Boots Chikazi and Holla. All right, man. You keep cool. Usyk is now signed with Skills Challenge Promotion of Prince Khalid out there in Saudi Arabia. So what they're doing is they're putting together an offer for Tyson Fury. It's a take it or leave it deal. Because Tyson Fury burnt bridges in Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury went out there to Saudi and wanted, talking about 500 million, then 200 million. Now he wants 120 million. So the ego, man, the ego is what's messing up this fight. That's what happened here with Tyson Fury. It's the ego. But what you're seeing right now is the Saudis are like, he's not going to come in here and bully us. You know, we run things. We're the guys putting the money up, not him. So what they're looking to do with Tyson Fury is give him a take it or leave it. If not, Usyk's going to go on and keep fighting in Poland, Saudi, or wherever with underneath Skill Challenge Promotion and make his money. Those guys put money into their fighters. And I wouldn't be surprised if more people sign to Skill Challenge Promotion. And Tyson Fury is just going to basically be out here in the breeze. Because Tyson Fury has hurt himself. No one is chasing after Tyson Fury anymore. There are no more pursuers. And now Tyson Fury, you got Wilder and AJ, they're still going to go and have their fight out there in the Middle East. But now you got Tyson Fury, who could potentially mess up the whole round robin deal with these four, right? He could mess it up because of his greed. But this is what the WBC is looking to do. They're looking to make a mandatory for Tyson Fury. Now let me show y'all something so y'all understand this. This is what Tyson Fury has done to himself. Now I've done this before. But let me show you what Tyson Fury has done to himself, right? Let's go up here to the heavyweight division. Let me show you what Tyson Fury has done to himself for being foolish, right? Tyson Fury, and this is what's so crazy. So we know if Usyk and Fury don't fight, Fury can't fight Wilder because Wilder and AJ is supposed to fight. Fury can't fight Zhang because Zhang and Joyce are fighting. Can't fight Dillian White because Dillian White and AJ is supposed to have an interim bout. No one wants to fight Luis Ortiz, but he's got the WBC strap. So Fury, he's got to fight somebody from that WBC column, right? So Deontay Wilder's out of here. Anthony Joshua's out of here. Tyson Fury may have to fight Ruiz or Frank Sanchez. I have a feeling Andy Ruiz is going to be made the mandatory to Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury did not want to fight Andy Ruiz. But you could see Andy Ruiz becoming a mandatory to Tyson Fury. And now Tyson Fury fights him. And as far as fighting Usyk, Tyson Fury is going to get humbled. Because he keeps saying he doesn't care about Undisputed, right? That's what Tyson Fury says. He doesn't care about Undisputed. He had all the belts. He doesn't care. He doesn't need to become Undisputed. But let me tell you something. What's up, Cool Breeze? He said Tyson Fury wants to fight Joshua first. He's scared to lose to Usyk. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. He's at a point to where Usyk's not worried about Tyson Fury anymore. But Tyson Fury's gonna end up where he's just gonna be on that like what's that Tom Hanks and that movie we had the Ball Wilson. I forgot what it was called, man. Well, he's on that island. Castaway. Tyson Fury is basically, Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway. Well, he had the ball. It's Tyson Fury in his belt. He just got to talk to his belt because he's being greedy. And nobody wants to tolerate him. They're basically doing to Tyson Fury what Fury and Wilder did to AJ. And that's what you're seeing. But as a result, he can just hold on to that belt and there's not going to be an undisputed distinction. You know what I'm saying? And that's what sucks. But bottom line is, man, hey, look, the ship is full steam ahead, Cool Breeze. And for Tyson Fury not wanting to fight Usyk or whatever, I think he'll fight Usyk. I just think Tyson Fury, he's ready to retire. But he wants money. He's gone on record and said, look, I want money. Anthony Joshua says, I want money. Greedy belly, absolutely, CB. Greedy belly, man. Buffet belly, you know what I mean? Deontay Wilder too said, though, he wants money. Usyk isn't saying it, but he wants money. Because why else would he sign with them Saudis? Because, those Saudis are putting up real dough. So the bottom line is, our reality when it comes to these heavyweight boxers is that transition, that turnover is about to happen. Where you see these guys, these up-and-comers, the Zhang, the Joyces, the Ricardo Torreses, the Adelaide. You're going to see this next generation, the Jared Andersons. You're going to see these guys starting to kind of, get themselves in position, which they already are, to pick up belts and titles, and you're going to have new champions. And these guys are going to just kind of, disappear. And that's where we're at when it comes to heavyweight boxing. But for right now, man, it got us all excited at the possibility of seeing Wilder fight AJ, Usyk and Fury, then the winners go on to fight, basically, man, for, all the marbles. And this whole Saudi showdown with the new stadium and everything going on. But nonetheless, I still think there's hope because we know those Saudis are going to put up the money to make fights happen. And Tyson Fury, if he just sits back and holds tight, I think they're eventually going to give him something close to what he wants. But the bottom line is Tyson Fury doesn't want to get the same money that Usyk's receiving, And he definitely doesn't want to get the same money as AJ or Wilder, because Tyson Fury feels his profile is bigger. He feels he's had all the belts before. He feels that he's the only one who's really undefeated outside of Usyk, but he feels like he's the guy who's carried the heavyweight division since he's dethroned Klitschko. And I could kind of see his point to a certain degree, but at the same time, you can't come over there to Saudi Arabia asking these people for, 120 million, man. Come on. Chicken talk. There's absolutely no reason Fury versus Usyk aren't fighting next. I see a lot of excuses, but not holding both accountable by the media. Yeah, let me tell you something. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I'm going to tell you this, right? When it comes to Usyk, I don't think Usyk should have ever agreed to 70-30, but he did. And then the whole thing with the rematch clause. I don't understand what the issue was with the rematch clause. Tyson Fury didn't want the rematch. But I do understand that Tyson Fury felt like he got screwed because he signed for a rematch with Deontay Wilder for like the third fight or whatever. He felt like that was something that shouldn't have happened. He felt like that was a waste of time. But as a result, he got his... hold on, that's my son. As a result, he was like, you know what? I end up going through all this crap because I signed in a contract that basically I would award this man another fight. And so Tyson Fury is afraid of he's afraid of the whole rematch thing. And so I understand that, but still, there's no reason to sit there, man. I mean, it's not uncommon to have two guys who have belts have a first fight and then plan to have a rematch. I mean, that shouldn't be a deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Tyson Fury, man, it just sounds like excuses, man. But for Usyk, I think Usyk should just move on, and do what he's doing. But hey, look, chicken talk and anyone else who thinks the fight should happen. I mean, you just can't let somebody suck out your eyeballs. You know what I mean? And Tyson Fury basically was trying to suck out them big old eyeballs of Alexander Usyk. But I don't think we should be sitting here spinning our wheels too much. They should have the undisputed distinction. It's just greed, man. Pride and greed. And that's always going to present problems when it comes to boxing. Debo says, do you know of Bobby Chacon? I know the name, but you're going to have to tell me a little bit more about Bobby Chacon if there's something specific that you want to ask me, man. I got about 3 more minutes on here, then I'm going to jump off, man. I got to go pick up my son. I've been on here for what? How long? Oh, 2 hours, man. Tell me, hey, Debo, before I get off, tell me about Bobby Chacon. What specifically you want to talk about when it comes to Bobby Chacon? Okay. We won? Okay. Is there something specific you want to talk about Bobby Chacon? Let me know. But before I jump off, we talked about a whole lot. But this thing about Rolly Romero and Barroso, hey, expect Barroso to get another big fight. I just saw a post made about him. They said that they stopped that fight. The referee, Tony Weeks, said he stopped that fight between Rolly Romero and Barroso because of Barroso's advanced age, which we all know is bullcrap. You know what I'm saying? That's the secret society getting involved. Rolly was the one who was supposed to win, so they made sure he won the fight. But Tony Weeks has said Barroso, they stopped the fight because of his advanced age and worried about him getting hurt. And in my opinion, if they're going to stop a fight, they should have stopped the fight because Rolly Romero's the one getting his ass whipped in that ring. Chicken Talk says no light heavyweight. Yeah, I just talked about that. Complete nonsense. Real quick before I get off, let me tell you this. I already talked about it, but I did not know that Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC have boxing facilities being built in Ukraine. So that goes back. You got leadership in Ukraine working hand in hand with the WBC, right? That's that stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we never know about. But you see certain things happening with fighters. You're like, how's that happening? But long story short, they were building. Yeah, the WBC is crazy. They were supposedly building facilities out there. Then the Russians came in, and attacked Ukraine, destroyed those facilities with the bombing. So the WBC lost a lot of money on those facilities that were supposed to be open in May of this year. As a result, they're being a lot spiteful and saying Russian fighters are not going to be able to fight for their belt. Now, It's all bullcrap because now they're saying Bivol can't do it. Nope, Bivol can't fight for the WBC strap. But check this out. They were talking about Bivol coming out fighting Canelo at 168 for undisputed. The WB strap was involved in. Now Canelo's coming up. They're trying to push for that fight, but Bivol's not budging because they want basically for Canelo to still be the A side, although Bivol did everything but kill him in their fight. So when it comes to that Mauricio Suleiman and the whole WBC and no light heavyweight, they want that light heavyweight distinction, that undisputed distinction. They just want Canelo to have it. And right now, Bivol doesn't seem to be taking the bait. Bivol's playing hardball now. He's like, nah, if you want me to fight Canelo, it's going to be on my terms, and I should get the lion's share of the purse because I already beat him. He's challenging me, but they're trying to give him the same deal. But, we'll see what happens. But if they make the right offer, you may see Bivol and Canelo have the sequel. But I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, before I get off of here, if Canelo can make the fight close, somehow, he can make it close, right? They're going to rob Bivol. Canelo's going to pick up that strap, and then Canelo will either fight Broner or he'll fight Smith, whoever wins. And then if that fight's close, then Canelo's going to become the undisputed at 175. That's what they're trying to do. Now, if it doesn't happen that way, I have no problem saying, hey, look, I was just having a conversation, I was wrong. But that's what I think they're trying to do. That being said, y'all keep cool. I got to go get my son, man. I'll try to be back out here tomorrow, like between 8 and 9 o'clock. Give it another 2 hours of conversation. Appreciate y'all's support as always. Y'all eat something good. Keep cool. And I'm in the breeze as always.